Oh, yes. This no contest coach where you use criminal complaints instead of the charging language of police departments. Yes. I had been through numerous complaints of clients during the Y2K crisis. Yes. And, it was one of these where you documented the actual transaction, you had a rationale for what happened. But I did go through an actual arbitration where the brokerage would say, well, we don't admit or deny anything. We just don't contest the criminal complaint, or is it a complaint of somebody that's not the actual victim? No, I know. There's this big question because as I remember it, it is available that somebody could say in a criminal complaint, right? Because police departments didn't read me my rights, they didn't investigate the crime. Now, since I did have complaints while I was a financial consultant, and it wasn't because I was a bad financial consultant. See, when you have 1,200 accounts, right, and you're managing approximately 50 to 60 million dollars, if the client loses more than $5,000, they write a letter and say that it's my fault. My job was to document, yes, that it wasn't my fault. There's no guarantees, and sometimes the market goes up and sometimes it goes down. Yes. Now, these complaints, they're similar to criminal complaints, but they're in the FINRA. Yes. See, that CRD? Yeah. I had some experience in having to write out reasonings and rationales. Yeah, about why somebody complained that their investment went down. Well, this seems similar to me that the no contest should be available to criminal complaints where I'm not going to contest the actual complaint itself, but I'm not going to say I'm not guilty. Now, I am not guilty. Pooch, I'd go to trial. Now, there's general rules and consequences of challenging a plea bargain. Pooh! I put a couple sign here. Yes. What if you don't offer a plea? Pooch. What if you don't offer anything other than a mental health evaluation? Seems to me that you didn't just skirt the rules, you completely removed every available avenue, right, to myself as the defendant of not having to go to a mental institution because you had already planned. Buyer's remorse is not good grounds for undoing a plea bargain. Now, since I did have some familiarity with the due processes of the customer complaint while being a stockbroker, yes, I did have a small amount of understanding of the criminal complaint, but because there's similarities, yes. Now, but beware of facing the same charges that were originally filed against you, including the charges that were dismissed in the plea bargain. The prosecutor might even file additional charges. Now that got me thinking, what additional charges could you file against me right now? I mean, what other crimes have I committed? Is there some crimes that you're going to serve me today? Ooch, I've been doing this for the last 16 months. How many additional crimes? Now, issues that cannot be raised following a plea. Approach. Such issues usually concern whether the evidence the prosecutor collected was reliable, admissible at trial, or enough to prove you were guilty of the charges. Now, since you wouldn't allow me to see the evidence, you wouldn't allow me any defense, you wouldn't say that I was innocent. Pouch! It seemed to me that not allowing the defendant to see the actual evidence of what I was legal search discussed in section 3, that a police lineup was unfair. The police illegally coerced you to confess that witnesses were not credible. Now, the superintendent of the Brennan School District or Quilcene School District, you wrong. The evidence would be admissible. Note, there is an exception for evidence obtained in a legal search. Let's say you searched my personal belongings. Right. You didn't give me summons. Yes. You wouldn't allow me a magistrate. Pooch! You wouldn't give me the right to bring witnesses on my behalf that had seen the actual videos that I had made on that day, June 16th of 2017. You wouldn't allow me the no contest. Pooch. You wouldn't allow me to enter a plea. Pooch. You just decided I was going to a mental institution. Now, this is interesting. Issues that can be raised on direct appeal without a certificate of probable cause. Now, I wanted to know this probable cause certificate that you get. Yes. How do I get one? How do I get a certificate of probable cause? Could be that I'm going to appeal the decision of the cell hearing. Yes. Now I know. Apples to apples. Pooch. You know, I was looking at a couple boxes that were in the room that I've been renting where I'm trying to get rental assistance. Yes. Could you get me all the apple orchards and the orange groves? Yes. Now, a lot of those in the family say, well, we just got to do this. We got to mutate the population. And for every apple grower in this great state, Washington State, I'm going to want to know the actual property boundary of all apple trees and all orange trees, Florida. And then there's those, well, a lot of the actual produce, the fruits that we get as a nation. You know, it's Christmas time, and I was thinking about some gifts that I'd like to receive. I wanted to get a pinky ring for myself, one of these $50,000 diamonds, so that I could play like I was the boss of the mafia. Put it away! There's nothing like putting the mafia in prison because I find for every bribe of every judge, every person in law enforcement, and every politician that said, the mob is not bribing me. Pooch! My thought is they could go to prison too. Now, when you look at those that have supported your campaign, because I was wanting to get a pinky ring. See, I don't have any jewelry, and I thought I'd put it right here. Yes. And then I put one on my other hand too. Yes. Then I'd walk into a bar, being a non-drinker. Yes. And I'd play like I was running the mafia of the United States of this great nation. Now, I'm going to want to know these campaign contributions.